You are turning in 10 minutes of BPTV News brought to you by Bình Phước Television Station and Newspaper. I'm the one with the latest news for today. Workshop held marking 80 years of outline on Vietnamese culture. Bình Phước organized Whole People Bodyguard Day. Deputy Prime Minister met leaders of international organizations, foreign officials in Geneva. Vietnam-Norway promote cooperation. Secretary of the Bình Phước Provincial Party Committee Nguyễn Mạnh Cường, Chairwoman of the Provincial People Committee Trần Tuệ Hiền, and leaders from departments and agencies attended a national scientific workshop with the theme 80 Years of the Outline on Vietnamese Culture, 1943-2023, Foundation and Motivation for National Development. The workshop was held by the Party Central Committee's Commission for Popularization and Education, the Ministry of Culture, Sport and Tourism, the Central Theoretical Council, and the Ho Chi Minh National Academy of Politics.
The Outline on Vietnamese Culture was the first platform from the Communist Party of Vietnam on culture, affirming culture as one of the three fronts: political, economics, and culture. The introduction of the outline expressed the party's thoughts, vision, and deep concern about cultural development at the time. 80 years on, the core principles of the outline remained valid. Sectors and localities take advantage of opportunities and gather resources to invest in cultural development, as a scientific, reasonable investment in culture is an investment in a more sustainable future and the country's integration. Head of the Party Central Committee's Commissions for Popularization and Education, Nguyễn Trọng said, with 173 discussions presenting scientific arguments, the workshop proved the important positions of the outline in Vietnam's revolution, defining the role and missions of culture as an internal resource for development.
In recent years, despite many difficulties, the health sector in Bình Phước province has made major effort and stayed united to the record many result in caring for people's health.
The network of medical facilities and medical staff at all levels in Bình Phước province continues to be consolidated. By the end of 2022, the sector had fulfilled the basic targets set forth by the province. Among others, the ratios of doctors per 10,000 people reached 8.6, while the rate of people with health insurance was 92%, and the rate of malnourished children under 5 years old was 10%. A number of common epidemics were also brought under control. The qualities of medical examinations and treatment is increasingly meeting the needs of the people and has made important strides forward. Many new techniques have been transferred and applied to effectively treat patients. Bình Phước health sector will continue to perform its tasks in a focused manner in 2023 to cope well with arising problems. On the occasions of the Vietnamese Doctors' Day, February 27th, the health sector launched the 2023 Patriotic Emulation Movement with the goal of removing all obstacles and difficulties in order to complete its assigned targets, thus improving the efficiencies of medical examinations and treatment and creating trust and satisfaction among patients.
The Whole People Bodyguard Day took place recently in Đắc Ơ Cẩm Miêu, Bù Gia Mập District, commemorating the 64th anniversary of the traditional day for bodyguard and 34 years of the Whole People Bodyguard Day.
Over the past 64 years, generations of bodyguard officials and soldiers have upheld their unyielding, indomitable wills to overcome all difficulties and hardships and stand ready to sacrifice themselves to successfully complete the task of protecting territorial sovereignty and national border security. The implementations of the Whole People's Bodyguard Day movement between Đắc Ơ Cẩm Miêu and the Đắc Ơ Border Guard Station in the past years has contributed to protecting territorial sovereignty and border securities and maintaining social securities and order in the locality. The movement also contributes to promoting the construction of new-style rural areas, local economic, cultural and social development, and hunger eradication and poverty alleviation, while at the same time strengthening the relationship between the army and the people, thereby helping protect territorial sovereignties and ensure border security.
The 13th Central Committee of the Communist Party of Vietnam convened a meeting at its headquarters on the 1st of March to consider and offer opinions on the personnel work. The party Central Committee decided as follows. 1. To decide nominating personnel for election to hold the position of the President of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam for the 2021-2026 tenure. 2. To elect 3 additional members of the Inspection Commission of the Party's Central Committee 13th tenure, including Nguyễn Mạnh Hùng, head of Region 1 Department of the Party's Central Committee's Inspection Commission's Office. Đinh Hữu Thành, member of the Standing Board of the Quảng Bình Provincial Party Committee and head of its Inspection Commission, and Lê Văn Thành, member of the Standing Board of the Cần Thơ Municipal Party Committee and head of its Inspection Commission. Now moving on to other news. Deputy Prime Minister Trần Lưu Quang met leaders of international organizations and foreign officials on the sidelines of the 52nd regular session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva on February 27 to 28.
At a meeting with Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Eduardo Rodriguez Parrilla, Deputy Prime Minister Quang said Vietnam encouraged firms from both sides to seek investment and business opportunities. Bruno Parrilla affirmed that the relationship with Vietnam remains a top priority of Cuba. The officials consented to closely coordinate and support each other at international forums, especially when both Vietnam and Cuba serve as members of the UN Human Rights Council for the 2023 to 2025 term. On this occasion, Quang had a working session with UN General Assembly President Ksabakasi. Quang suggested the General Assembly to help Vietnam fulfill its climate commitments by coordinating efforts in order to call on developed nations to provide resources in climate change response. At a meeting with WTO Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Quang said Vietnam will closely coordinate with the WTO and other countries in implementing commitments in the Geneva package. Okonjo-Iweala expressed her hope that Vietnam will be one of the first to ratify the agreement on fisheries subsidies and coordinate in organizing the 13th Ministerial Conference scheduled for February 2024. Meeting Petteri Taalas, Secretary General of the World Meteorological Organization, Quang appealed to the organization to continue its assistance to Vietnam in developing meteorological and hydrological products and services. Taalas hailed the hydrometeorological forecasting capacity of Vietnam, calling it a success model and an important center for the region in this field. During a meeting with Gilbert F. Haungbo, Director General of the International Labour Organization, Quang affirmed that Vietnam will continue fulfilling its ILO membership by promoting fundamental principles and rights at work.
On the 3rd of March, Minister of Foreign Affairs Bùi Thanh Sơn received Erling Rimstad, State Secretary of the Norwegian Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Bùi Thanh Sơn affirmed that Vietnam and Norway have much potential for cooperation in the coming time. He suggested the two sides exert efforts to speed up negotiations of free trade agreements between Vietnam and the EFTA member states, including Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, and Switzerland. Agreeing with the Vietnamese Foreign Minister's suggestion for promoting negotiations of the agreement, State Secretary Erling Rimstad also asked the two sides to expand cooperation in such areas of shared interest as climate change response, energy transition, and green economy.
The People Committee of Central Da Nang City on the 1st of March received a certificate recognizing 78 mã nhái still on its Ngũ Hành Sơn mountain as part of documentary heritage under the memory of the World Committee for Asia and the Pacific.
According to the Cultural Heritage Department under the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, they comprise 76 steles with writings in the Chinese script and 2 in the Nom, an old script of Vietnam. Apart from reflecting the history, geography, and culture in Vietnam during the feudal period, the stelae mirror economic, cultural, and social exchanges between Southeast Asian nations going back to the 17th century. They won recognition at the 9th General Meeting of the Memory of the World Committee for Asia and the Pacific in Andong City, the Republic of Korea, last year. Vietnam now has 9 documentary heritage items on the list of UNESCO, including 3 at the world level and 6 in the Asia-Pacific list.
That is the end of our bulletin today. To read what is new, you can download the BPTV Go mobile app or visit our website and YouTube channel. Now, thanks for staying with us and see you next time.